on va commencer, je
So
crois.
let's begin.
Donc, c'est avec une très
I'm
grande joie
very happy
qu'en tant que vice-présidente
as the
de
Vice
la métropole de
President
Lyon
of
déléguée
the
au tourisme
Metropole
et aux
in
relations
charge of
internationales,
tourism
j'ouvre
and
ce matin la
international
session du Forum
relations.
international des
I'm
jeunes.
opening
Je
the
tiens tout d'abord à exprimer
International
l'immense
Youth Forum
fierté
this morning.
pour la
I'm
métropole de Lyon
very proud for the
d'accueillir cette
Metropole
semaine l'événement majeur pour notre
for
territoire que
having
représentent les compétitions WorldSkills,
been the
mais aussi la
venue
conférence
for
internationale
WorldSkills and the
de haut niveau
International
qui,
Youth
durant
Forum,
ces 2 journées,
which
rassemble
during
les
2
décideurs
years
du
brings
monde
together
entier autour de débats,
decision
de réflexions
makers from
stratégiques
the
et de
entire
solutions
world
à
for
apporter en matière
strategic
de formation
decisions
professionnelle
and
et
solutions
d'innovation des métiers
for
techniques dans un monde qui se transforme
professional training and
démographiquement,
technical training
écologiquement
in a
et
world that's
numériquement.
changing
Dans la
economically
continuité
and
de la dynamique
ecologically.
initiée en 2017
In
à Abu
the
Dhabi,
same
qui a
dynamic
donné lieu
which
à la
began in
Youth
Abu Dhabi,
Declaration, il
which
nous est apparu
we
essentiel avec
felt
les
it to
organisateurs de
be
la conférence
essential
de
with the
proposer
organizers
un
to
temps de parole
propose
aux jeunes professionnels
and give
passionnés et
young
engagés
professionals
dans leur
time
métier.
who are passionate
C'est
and
pour cette
committed
raison que nous sommes
to
réunis ce matin
their
dans un format favorable à
skills.
l'échange
That's why
et au
we have
dialogue entre
a
jeunes
format
exerçant
this
leur
morning
métier au cœur des
between young
problématiques de
people
terrain et
and
décideurs
their
en charge
experience
d'orienter les
in the
politiques
field
publiques en matière de
with decision
formation et
makers
d'emploi
to
dans le monde
give
entier.
the people in charge of these decisions information about how
Pour la métropole de
to
Lyon,
the future
fortement engagée à
for
travers ses
the
politiques
metropole.
publiques en faveur de l'emploi et du pouvoir d'agir des jeunes, et en raison de l'ouverture internationale dans l'ADN de notre territoire, il nous a semblé important d'associer des jeunes établis dans nos villes partenaires, aux côtés de jeunes de nombreux pays venant participer à l'événement, afin de proposer des panels de dialogue thématiques incarnant la plus grande diversité, tant au niveau géographique qu'au niveau des métiers représentés. Faciliter la réflexion commune, intégrer les jeunes au cœur du débat politique, faire entendre leur voix, faire émerger les attentes et proposer de nouvelles réponses et solutions aux réalités pragmatiques que rencontrent les jeunes aujourd'hui est l'enjeu des rencontres de ce matin. Les rencontres et sessions de travail en ligne avec les jeunes ont débuté dès le mois de juin avec nos partenaires, que je tiens ici à remercier, le réseau européen EFVET, the European Forum of Technical and Vocational Education and Training, en français réseau spécialiste de la formation professionnelle, et le centre de formation SEPR, basé à Lyon. Ces discussions ont été riches des expériences et des points de vue de chacun autour des 4 grands thèmes que vous évoquerez ce matin. Comment s'adapter aux évolutions technologiques? Comment s'épanouir dans sa vie professionnelle et ses exigences? Comment prendre en compte les débats environnementaux et sociaux dans un monde globalisé? Quels sont les pouvoirs d'agir dans les formations et les métiers? Cette matinée représente également le point de départ d'une réflexion qui sera poursuivie grâce à la collaboration avec une équipe de jeunes étudiants de l'Institut de sciences politiques de Lyon présents ce matin et que je salue, pour travailler à une feuille de route qui entend amplifier et disséminer les visions, les questionnements, les propositions des jeunes sur l'avenir des métiers, et pour placer la formation technique et professionnelle et le bien-être au travail au centre des enjeux mondiaux. Je vous souhaite à toutes et tous de fructueux échanges et vous invite à profiter de cette formidable compétition, mais aussi à découvrir de nombreux atouts de notre ville, son dynamisme, que toutes et tous sont pour tous et tous venus de tous horizons. Je vous remercie et je vous souhaite une très bonne conférence. Merci encore.
Expectations and what they would like to improve to live in a better, more equal and more sustainable world. The focus of our roundtable is on youth and empowerment. According to the United Nations, empowerment is giving to people or groups the strengths and knowledge needed to help them overcome their obstacles. When correctly empowered, people can thrive. They can feel secure to face life challenges and not only job requests. This is the so-called integral human development. So let's jump into the how-to. How do young people obtain the power to choose, to act, and to become leaders? What are the optimum conditions to ensure personal growth and self-fulfillment? What obstacles need to be overcome at a personal, educational, and societal level, and what can be improved to allow youth to blossom and thrive. We have been preparing and dreaming of these events for many months, so let's kick off. Let me first introduce you our young leaders, and I will ask you to stand up so everybody can identify you. Yusra Asali from Morocco. Levon Martirosyan from Armenia. Henry Becker from South Australia. Mashukurat Latouji from Benin. And Chloé Le Maréchal from France. And Alicia Kunzmann from France. Sorry. Let me now welcome and introduce our decision makers you will be discussing with, representing businesses, policy, and society. Mrs. Mary Hope McKeeston, you are the Vice President and where are you? Can you stand up, please? Oh, thank you so much. You are the Vice President and General Manager at Autodesk. Autodesk is a world leader in design and manufacturing technologies. And according to your motto, Autodesk's mission is to empower everyone, everywhere, and to make anything. Mr. Yorgos Zizimos, you are the Head of Policy Unit Advice at the European Training Foundation. ETF is the European Union agency that helps EU neighborhood countries make the most of their human capital through the transformation of their education, training, and employment systems. Mrs. Catherine Rowan, you are the Executive Director at the Global Apprenticeship Network, GAN. This network is a business-driven and multi-sector alliance that promotes work-based learning, including apprenticeship, as a way to overcome skills mismatch and to achieve the future of work that provides decent and sustainable work opportunities for all. Mr. Sobel Ngom, you are the president of Consortium Jeunesse Sénégal, an entrepreneurial alliance of youth-led organizations that leads youth inclusion and empowerment. And last but not least, Mr. Benoît Roger, you are the director of inclusion at Abilympics France, a non-profit organization dedicated to boosting the participation of people with disabilities in competition at national and international level. Abilympics is a mix between abilities and Olympics. And we also have, I guess, a timekeeper. So thank you so much for the timekeeper. Thank you, Carolina, because I guess this is the most difficult job of this roundtable. So I would like first to give the floor to Yusra. Yusra, you had to overcome several obstacles linked with gender equality to follow your calling and to achieve your dreams. Could you please share a bit of your incredible story with us?
Thank you so much. Hi everyone. Can you hear me well? Hi. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm Yusra Asali from Morocco. I'm the WorldSkills Champions Trust regional representative for Middle East and North Africa. I competed in WorldSkills Kazan 2019 in electronics. As you all know, the world of technology is constantly progressing. However, amid all this progress, there is one crucial issue that is still present till now, which is the gender gap. So for me, technology was and electronics was a passion since childhood, but pursuing a male-dominated skill is not that simple. You face a lot of challenges, and one of the many challenges was first to convince my family and my interests who believed that as a woman, I should pursue a much easier and different career, and to wait for the system to change and to be more welcoming and inclusive towards women. And then After, when I start my skills journey and enter the institute and hearing all the time, women on technical skills, you won't go that far. It's always much better to have a man than a woman. Don't waste your time and energy. You won't be chosen anyway. So, shocked by the fact that people don't advise you to choose career based on your abilities, but based on your gender. I nevertheless decide to follow my passion. When the WorldSkills national competitions opened and the registration started, a lot of my colleagues all told me that it's better to change the skills and try to compete in other skills because no woman has before competed in electronics. During the training of the competition, everyone was working hard to acquire certain skills and was stressed to prove themselves and they are competent in the skill. However, just in my case, I was the only girl. I worked even harder and felt the pressure doubly, not because I was bad on the skill, but because I was a woman. I had first to prove them that a woman will, should have a place and a seat on the competition, and then prove that I'm good at the skill. With perseverance and effort, today I'm proud to be one of the first women to I'm proud to be the first woman to win the national competition at the Morocco, and then on the international competition WorldSkills in Kazan, I was the only female competitors in electronics. However, the saddest part of this story is that this is the same story of millions of girls around the world. And the worst part of it is that the majority of them didn't have the same happy ending and end up giving up on their passion, their dream, and living with the struggle their whole life. Ironically, today we see that women are performing better in the so called men skills. And this is the best proof that it's not the skill that is hard, but only the beliefs, mindset, and culture that are the barriers, and that skills have no gender. Today, I want to take the chance to invite each of you, men, women, the community at large, to change our perspective, to change the system. Like even the way we call it male dominated skill, it's actually electronic skills, joinery skills, construction, mechanical. And it's about you are good or passionate about it. And as much as I dream of women to be more persistent, more confident, and hard worker, I also strongly dream that no other woman will have the same story as mine, and that no other girls will go at the same challenges and struggles. Because we can all agree that there is no point in working harder and having the weight on your shoulders or having to constantly prove yourself just because you're a woman and feel you're not supposed to be in certain skills. Being fortunate enough, being fortunate enough to overcome them or not to face it doesn't mean to not speak about it. Gender balance is not solely a woman's issue, but also an economic issue. Evidence is clear. Removing gender barriers unlock economics productivity, reduce poverty, and strengthen social cohesion. So let's change our perspective, our thoughts, include and provide more opportunities to women to show their real abilities and achievements to the world. A gender cannot define the ability of the person. So let's create a more inclusive world where we can feel belonged, included, and do what we are passionate about. And let's that become the new normal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yusra, for your very inspiring testimony. I guess you have a question for Mary.
Yes. I do. So my question is for you, like, how do you think, like, how can we have access, better access women to have better access to TVET, and how can we promote skills to women who feel that they are not feel belonged? And I mean, you are also a director of a company. Do you feel that women are still like underrepresented and not given that much opportunities?
First off, you are very inspiring. So I mean, I think you have a lot of the answers, and you've already gone through an incredible journey, and you're still so early in your career there. So really, thank you for sharing the story. So yeah, so it's wonderful to be here. So my name is Mary Hope McQuiston. I work at Autodesk. Autodesk is make software for people who design and make the world around us. So from architecture, engineering, construction, product design and manufacturing, and media and entertainment. And my job is to make sure that the next generation is inspired and prepared to pursue meaningful work in those industries that we serve. And so I just that context. As far as your question, um, so we have tens of thousands of customers around the world in each of these industries. And one of the things that we hear constantly is that they're lacking the talent they need to drive digital transformation in their companies, right? And so we need more, not fewer, people pursuing the meaningful work that they need to drive the growth in those businesses. So that's why it's so important. I think that we widen the aperture and have more of the next generation interested in pursuing. I think it's going to take, there's no one lever that we can pull. There's no magic that it's going to take all of us together. I love that you said let's, so together, that we need to do that between industry and government and academia and organizations like WorldSkills. I think that what's the way that we think about it is, first of all, I think there's a lack of awareness. I think there's awareness and perception issue. I think that many young girls are not aware of what careers are possible to them in STEM and the TVET trades, and so I think we need to go younger, earlier, and start that, and not just to the students or the young girls, but to their educators, their teachers, and to their parents, right? Making them aware of, if your daughter studies this, this is what they can pursue, and the incredible positive impact that they can have on the world around us, so that they can see it. And then I think we have to address the perceptional issues, right? Which I see as two. One is I've talked to many people who perceive, uh, construction or manufacturing as dirty and maybe not high growth and not where you can make a positive impact. And that's not what I'm seeing, right? So I think we need to change that perception. And what can you do, to solve some of the world's most pressing challenges in those spaces? So I think we have to, that perception, and then the gender perception. And I loved your comment of, we need to focus on skills versus the gender, right? That's the whole point. So I think there's an awareness and perception. I then think there's an access issue. How do we ensure that more girls have access to learn how to design and to make? And at Autodesk, we made the decision long before I came into this role to provide free access to our entire portfolio of professional tools to every student, educator, and an accredited institution around the world, to remove that barrier, so that that students can be using and accessing the same tools that industry uses, right? So these are the actual tools that you will need to be able to demonstrate you know how to use and to apply. So access is critical, and it's to both the designing and the making of it. And then I think advocacy is super important too. I think we need to advocate for each other. It sounds like you had to do this a lot on your own, but now you're here, and you can look to the left and look to the right and find people to support you and advocate on your behalf, and then advocate for your cause. You have an incredible voice and story that you can tell and to share, so that, as you said, the next generation of girls can see you and the success that you have, and then have belief that they can do it. I think that's super important. And then I think that inside Autodesk, where I work, you measure what matters. And so if we believe this is important, we in industry, in government, in academia, and in organizations like WorldSkills, we need to measure it. And we need to hold ourselves accountable to measuring those goals. So we have specific goals inside the company because we do believe that diverse teams perform better and have a better impact on the world. And so it's critical to the business. And so we measure ourselves and how we're doing that. But I will say I was watching the opening ceremony and it was such an incredible event and just wonderful. But I was noting how many young women were not represented. So I would love to see us have a collective goal there to try and to move the needle. So those are some of the thoughts that I have.
Thank you so much, Mary, for sharing with us what Autodesk is doing to promote gender equality. And I guess that in WorldSkills during all this week, it's also an incredible vector to allow women to discover this kind of trades and to encourage them to train in STEM and other vet sectors.
Yeah, and can I quickly add, so to that point, so if you go to digital construction to that skill, one of the experts is a former student. She's getting her PhD at Liechtenstein, and now she's giving back. And she's in digital construction. And then we have in our booth a young woman who competed in mechanical engineering. She's now a lecturer at this university. She's in our booth now helping to answer questions. So I think it's part of that full cycle.
Thank you so much. Besides gender inequality, young people can also face other kinds of challenges that disrupt and profoundly impact their lives. This is your case, Levon, as your personal and professional life have been strongly affected by war. Could you please tell us your story and what outcomes you expect from this roundtable regarding such pressing issues?
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Levon. I'm from Armenia. Today, I want to share a deeply personal and transformative experience that profoundly shaped my understanding of maturity and responsibility and the value of life. My time during the war in Armenia divided my life into two parts, before and after. This was just a shift in my life, but a fundamental change in how I see the world, my priorities, and my approach to life. War forced you to grow up quickly. Before the war, maturity was just an abstract concept for me. I was like many young people, feeling invisible, unaware of the gravity of the certain responsibilities, but the harsh reality of war ended that naivety, facing life and death situation every day, made me grew up fast. War taught me to prioritize life and time in a way I have never imagined. The trivial things that once consumed my days suddenly seems insignificant. I learned how to cherish every moment, value the people around me, and focus on what truly matters. The war also brought me closer to my family and friends. In the face of constant danger and loss, these relationships become my timeline. I remember losing my friend in my arms, an experience that left me utterly devastating. The pain of the moment is incredible, but reinforced the importance of the bond was shared with others. Support from my loved ones was crucial in helping me navigate the darkest times, giving me the strength I need to keep going. Blocking out the toughest memories become a coping mechanism, but the lesson for those experiences stayed with me. I witnessed the loss of many young men, leaving countless mothers grieving. It's a haunting reminder of the cost of conflict and the fragility of life. Despite these overwhelming challenges, I found resilience and strength within myself. I never knew it existed. Faith in myself and the overwhelming support from my community were instrumental in overcoming the hardest parts of this journey. War taught me to the weight of responsibilities, not just for myself, but for those around me. Making decisions that impact my life and death require a level of maturity and decisiveness I hadn't knew before. Sometimes there was an unreasonable decisions, yet they have to be made. And implement in highly stressful and fearful situations. The experience honed my abilities to stay calm under pressure, think certain, and act decisively. As the time goes by, I continue to analyze those situations, reflect on what went wrong, and what could have been done differently. The constant reflection has made me more mature and thoughtful, allowing me to learn from my experience and grow as an individual. The importance of taking risks or working hard to overcome challenges is now clear to me. This experience, though painful, and have made me more resilient and capable. The concussion and the PTSD for the war pushed me to take a new direction in life. I decided to become my own boss and try myself in entrepreneurship. I opened a cafe, and through hard work and determination, I found success in new venture. This step was a big part of my healing process, allowing me to channel my experience into something positive and productive. It gave me a sense of control over my life and a way to contribute to my community meaningfully. In conclusion, my experience in the war in Armenia was crucible that forged a new version of myself. I taught me the true meaning of the maturity, responsibility, and value of life. While the memories are painful, they have also been a source of strength and growth. I urge you all to value your time, cherish your loved ones, and never shy away from the challenges that life presents. It is through these challenges that we truly found our strength and our purpose. That's all. So, and the question is, in a context of war and conflict, the unfortunately happened in Armenia and across the world, what can be done to better support young people who live in this kind of situation to fully accomplish themselves and succeed in their personal and professional lives.
Thank you, Levon. And it takes a courage for a young person to get out of the bubble that the conflicts, including war, would create. And you have done that. So that takes a lot of courage. And thank you for sharing this story with us. In a way, I'm not a young person anymore, or I'm a young person with gray hair, but I was born on 29th of May 1974, and just a few weeks later, on the 20th of July 1974, and then on the 14th of August 1974, the country I come from was experiencing war, invasion, in fact. Yeah, and though I have no memories of that, I have lived, perhaps until today, some of the consequences of that war. Because war might end, but the consequences of war, especially in a destroyed country, continue and continue for decades. And of course, when you're talking to young people, these consequences, they deprive you from opportunities. And you said that very well in your, where you had to look for, where you had to take, things in your own hands and move on. And that is very important. There is fragility all around the world, unfortunately. And I say fragility and not war because war is one type of fragility, but extreme poverty, for example, is another type of fragility. Conflict of different sorts is fragility. And we have that all around. You mentioned Armenia, but of course we know the situation in Ukraine, we know the situation in Gaza, and I could mention countries in Central Asia and so on. So the question is, how do you support youth? I mean, how do you support youth in such a context? And of course, the question could be, how do you support anyone in such a context? How do you support anyone in a country or a region that is destroyed by 85%, like Gaza, for example? I think one point is to understand the mechanics of conflict, and I think there we need to understand within that what does it mean for a young person. So in a situation of conflict, for example, the main medium of communication of young people, which is the internet, is one of the first ones that usually doesn't work. So the young people naturally would feel that more than anybody else because they cannot communicate, which is fundamental. The opportunities, the experience that the young people would need, the luxury, I would say, but it shouldn't be a luxury, to make a mistake and fix it. All these things, they don't happen in a conflict. You spoke about your friends. Young people, they go to war. They become soldiers in that situation. Yeah? And of course, after the war, they become veterans if they come back. And they come back sometimes with disabilities. So when you're talking about supporting young people, you're talking about people who have experienced that. If you take the case of Ukraine, we estimate that to about 1 million people, million veterans coming back, and you can imagine the sort of issues that they will have after experiencing that extreme fragility, war. So I think it's important to hear from young people, this sort of to analyze their needs. And there are schemes nowadays. I will not go into the technical elements, but maybe you have heard about the Youth Guarantee, which is a scheme that is looking in these particular needs. This is something that in Ukraine, for example, is in the pipeline now. What does it mean to support? How do you identify these people? It's not like in normal conditions where you can identify the different groups that you want to support. It's not so obvious. So you need to do that. What sort of needs? How do you build on their skills? How do you create skills from nothing? I mean, we're in the WorldSkills competition. Huh? How do you do that? So I think there are ways forward, but and it's important to hear from young people. So your role there is important. It's important to analyze the context of crisis, of fragility, of war. It's important more than anything to make a statement. And I'm building up a bit on what you said at the very end. You know, to look ahead. The organization I represent, which is the European Training Foundation, we're a European body. We're based in Italy, in Torino, and we're working a lot with developing human capital development in countries around Europe, and some of those countries, they are in state of fragility, as you said, Armenia. One of the first things we did was to put our position for peace. Unfortunately, today, in policy shaping, it's easier to justify war than justify peace. And I think that is a statement that needs to come from the young people as well, to push for that. And that would be the first step. Because war is not just a duration that happens only when people are dying in the war field, but it continues, and it will have, people will feel the consequences later on. So hope is needed, as you said. Sometimes we take things in our hands. There are mechanisms to show the way ahead. Some sort of guidance is needed to seek for those less opportunities in that condition. And of course, voices from young people to come forward. But thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much, Yorgos, and thank you for your very positive words. We understood that youth guarantee is in the pipeline and that there are ways forward. So let's remain, let's keep hope for a better future. So we are now going to take a deeper dive into the challenges our youth faces to follow their dreams. Mashukurat, like Yusra, you had to fight to fulfill your career goals. Thanks to perseverance, training, and determination, you are now a very inspiring and committed young entrepreneur. Could you please share with us your career trajectory and your expectations to better support future generation to empower themselves and fulfill their dreams? Mashukurat is going to speak in French. Mashukurat, je te donne la parole.
Merci. Bonjour, chères autorités. Bonjour, chers leaders. Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Je suis Mashukurat Latoundi. Je viens du Bénin. J'ai 27 ans. Je suis entrepreneur en métier d'épellage et pâtisserie. Tout a commencé quand j'ai eu ma licence. Quand il y a eu ma licence en marketing, commerce et communication. Et vu qu'au Bénin, le côté salarié est un peu compliqué, et vu que j'ai fait beaucoup de formations dans l'entrepreneuriat, j'ai décidé de m'orienter dans mes deux projets, qui est la pâtisserie et le pellage. J'ai commencé petit à petit, parce que vu que j'ai vraiment des parents qui n'ont pas de moyens, et il faut faire avec ce qu'on a. Donc, j'ai commencé avec mes propres moyens. J'évolue en ligne comme présentiel. J'ai un nom de marque démarqué AD Market, qui signifie le marché de AD. J'ai choisi ce nom tout simplement parce qu'à l'avenir, j'aimerais aussi m'orienter dans mes deux autres projets à l'avenir, qui est l'agroalimentaire et la cosmétique. Mais actuellement, j'évolue dans pâtisserie et le pellage. Comme je dis, j'évolue peu à peu. J'ai reçu des formations en numérique qui m'a permis de créer mon groupe WhatsApp. Je publie mes produits et mes amis m'aident à le publier. Aussi, j'ai pris mon compte Facebook que j'ai transformé en page Facebook qui me permet aussi de faire la publication de mes produits. Et aussi mon compte TikTok. Voilà. En tant qu'entrepreneur, j'ai rencontré beaucoup de difficultés. Premièrement, au début, je n'ai pas de moyens, c'était un peu difficile, mais j'ai commencé quand même parce qu'il ne faut jamais baisser les bras. Voilà, et je suis un leader très déterminé. Je suis tellement curieuse et je ne baisse jamais les bras parce que je sais que demain, en évoluant petit à petit, demain sera meilleur. Et voilà, j'évolue. Il y a, il y a du côté où j'ai rencontré un petit souci sur le marché. Il y a un concurrent qui a pris ma part de marché, mais cela m'a permis de m'adapter et de gérer la difficulté et de tirer mon épingle du jeu. Ça m'a appris à rebondir. Et voilà. Et il y a aussi du côté de mes ingrédients, du côté pâtisserie, que je ne trouve plus sur le marché. Et ça m'a causé un peu de soucis. Mais quand même, ça m'a fait perdre de l'argent, mais je me suis aussi relevé grâce à mes sous. Parce qu'en même temps, tu vends, tu produis, tu vends, tu laisses un peu quelque part. Donc, ça m'a permis aussi de me rebondir. Après cela, j'évolue et tout. Et aussi, du deuxième côté, j'aimerais parler de l'importance de l'estime du soi dans l'entrepreneuriat. C'est vraiment important. L'estime du soi joue beaucoup de rôle du côté de nous, les entrepreneurs, parce que ça nous permet de gérer beaucoup de choses, la résilience, de croire en notre créativité, en notre compétence et de bien gérer notre entreprise. Voilà, merci.
Mashoukurat, je crois que tu as une question pour Sobel.
Merci. Merci, Monsieur Sobel. Ma question va, et j'ai deux questions.
Attends, Mashoukurat.
Voilà. Je disais tantôt que j'ai deux questions pour Monsieur Sobel. Le premier, comment mieux soutenir les entrepreneurs quand ils créent leurs entreprises et dans le développement de leurs différents projets. Le second, comment mieux développer les soft skills, l'engagement et l'estime du soi dans la société civile en faveur du développement durable. Merci.
Ça va. Oui. Merci, Mouchoukurat. D'abord, donc, saluer l'audience. Donc, je m'appelle Sobel Aziz Ngom, je suis sénégalais. Je suis, disons, en transition. Donc, je suis dans mon dernier kilomètre de jeune entrepreneur, parce que j'ai 34 ans. Et chez nous, l'âge pour être jeune, c'est 35 ans. Donc, je m'identifie un peu à ce groupe-là et un peu à l'autre groupe. Et je suis très inspiré déjà parce que je viens d'entendre vraiment Yousra et Mouchouad, vous êtes ce que j'aime appeler des étoiles africaines. Parce que ce que vous avez fait est inspirant, mais cela va permettre d'ouvrir des voies de possibilités à plein d'autres jeunes filles qui n'ont pas accès à beaucoup d'informations. Et donc, la première chose que je pourrais dire en répondant à ta question, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour mieux aider les entrepreneurs? D'abord, c'est leur donner accès à l'information. Ça, c'est le premier défi auquel font face les jeunes. Savoir qu'est-ce qui existe comme dispositif, comme mécanisme, comme moyen pour pouvoir se projeter dans leur environnement. Et je compléterai en disant que je vois probablement 3 niveaux d'engagement pour soutenir l'entrepreneuriat des jeunes. Le premier niveau, c'est le plus haut, c'est au niveau de la société, du système public, comment il est organisé, comment l'entrepreneuriat des jeunes est ancré dans le dispositif public. Est-ce qu'il y a un ministère? Est-ce qu'il y a des divisions, des départements? Comment il est régulé, etc. Parce que Mouchoukurat et moi, on vient de pays où 3 jeunes sur 4 ont moins de 35 ans. Et en même temps, 1 jeune sur 10 qui arrive sur le marché de l'emploi a un travail formel. Ça veut dire que les 9 autres, ils doivent se débrouiller pour travailler. Et parmi les moyens pour se débrouiller pour travailler, c'est entreprendre. Et si le système ne met pas en place des mécaniques suffisamment rodées et organisées, eh ben, les jeunes auront du mal à entreprendre. Donc, premier élément, c'est qu'il faut qu'on renforce les approches et les dispositifs de notre système pour accompagner l'entrepreneuriat. Évidemment, donc nous, on est plutôt des bénéficiaires ici, mais je pense que porter du plaidoyer, éclairer, montrer ce qui se fait de mieux dans le reste du monde peut aider nos gouvernements à avoir des approches qui valorisent davantage l'entrepreneuriat. La deuxième chose, c'est l'écosystème. Quand on est un entrepreneur, on ne peut pas naviguer tout seul. En tout cas, si on navigue tout seul, on mettra beaucoup plus de temps à arriver là où on veut aller. Le fait d'appartenir à un écosystème nous permet de partager des expériences, de confronter nos actions, d'avoir de la concurrence et de savoir comment fonctionne cette concurrence, d'apprendre, de tirer des leçons et d'avoir des actions collectives. Si toi, toute seule, tu veux que ton gouvernement fasse quelque chose pour ton secteur, tu n'y arriveras difficilement. Si par contre, tu arrives à t'entourer d'une vingtaine de jeunes filles comme toi, qui sont dans le même secteur, qui ont envie de faire bouger les choses et qui ont une proposition de valeur au gouvernement, on vous entendra plus. L'union fait la force. Moi, j'y crois beaucoup, je dirige un consortium. Et le troisième dispositif, c'est l'individu. Et là, j'ai rien à t'apprendre. Je pense que dans tout ce que tu as dit, tu as démontré qu'il faut de la résilience, tu as démontré qu'il faut de la patience, tu as démontré que tu as échoué, tu es tombé, tu as tiré de tes leçons pour réapprendre, pour te repositionner, te réorganiser. Et c'est ça l'entrepreneuriat. L'entrepreneuriat, ce n'est pas un métier, c'est un esprit. Et un esprit qui te permet justement de naviguer dans beaucoup de complexité et de pouvoir ressortir la tête de l'eau à chaque fois qu'une vague t'immerge. Et je pense que c'est ce que tu as démontré. Et en conclusion, peut-être, je dirais qu'il y a sur les soft skills et le leadership, donc ta deuxième question, je pense aussi que c'est à 2 niveaux, je dirais. C'est vraiment la façon dont notre système intègre le fait que les connaissances académiques ne peuvent pas suffire à développer un individu, qu'il faut qu'un individu ait la capacité de fonctionner en société, de raisonner en société, de comprendre le comportement qu'il doit avoir en société. Et tout ça, ça doit s'apprendre, ça doit se transmettre. Et la difficulté, c'est que dans nos systèmes, je ne peux pas parler de tous les pays, mais je sais que nos systèmes sont encore un peu rétrogrades sur le fait que les matières qu'on étudie à l'école sont encore des matières traditionnelles, histoire, géographie, français, mathématiques, sciences naturelles, etc., qui sont importantes, mais qui ne permettent pas à l'individu de devenir un citoyen. Et ces soft skills-là sont des choses qui font partie de ce qu'un individu de toute la planète a besoin. Donc, il y a un travail à ce niveau-là, auprès qui est descendant, donc top-down. Et il y a un travail maintenant que les jeunes peuvent eux-mêmes pratiquer en se challengeant, parce qu'ils ont maintenant accès à une diversité d'influences et d'inspirations. Quand on est jeune et qu'on est sur TikTok, on voit des jeunes comme nous qui font des performances extraordinaires et on peut se dire « mais moi, je veux faire pareil ». Qu'est-ce qu'il faut? Il faut de la discipline. On a regardé les JO, on a regardé les JOJ, on a regardé les Paralympiques, on a entendu des histoires et on apprend aussi de ces histoires. Et ces histoires peuvent nous aider en tant qu'individu à développer nos propres soft skills et notre propre leadership. Donc, je vous félicite encore, tous jeunes qui êtes là, et vous souhaite beaucoup de courage pour la suite, en espérant que vous allez être des champions pour vous-même et des lumières pour tous les autres jeunes qui sont à la recherche d'inspiration pour pouvoir aussi se construire une vie exceptionnelle. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Monsieur Sobel, pour votre intervention. Ça va beaucoup m'aider plus. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup, cher public, pour votre aimable attention. Je vous annonce que j'ai apporté quelques de mes articles en pâtisserie et en perlage. Donc, à la fin, vous aurez l'opportunité de goûter à mes petits cakes et petits cailloux, aussi à Chambala, ceci, voilà. Je veux juste partager pour que vous ameniez, voilà. Juste des souvenirs, merci.
Thank you so much, Mashoukurat, for
preparing these gifts for us that we will discover at the end of this roundtable. And thank you, Sobel, for your very positive insights and advice regarding entrepreneurship. To become an entrepreneur, we need to train. We need to train in vocational education and training. And that is a very powerful tool for empowerment. But unfortunately, that is not always equally regarded around the world. I suggest we move now to the land top under, Australia, where apprenticeship is promoted and valorized as a first choice. Harry, your experience as an apprentice has been an amazing springboard for your personal and professional growth. Could you please explain why vet and apprenticeship are so meaningful to you and allow young people to blossom?
The role the Australian vet and apprenticeship industry has had on me from day one has been absolutely pivotal. From constant up-to-date training and to continuously searching for new opportunities for me and many others to undertake, such as this forum that I'm talking at today. I will admit, I feel as though I have been somewhat lucky, from winning a couple of small awards to representing my country on an international stage. I do ask myself, how do I get here? The truth is, it isn't because any of this was marketed or advertised. It's because I've been surrounded by a few dedicated training officers. You guys know who they are because we have them all across the globe. How can we create a pathway to encourage more leaders in skills and trades to stand up and strive for excellence in their given fields? The answer is we must continue to promote the importance that vet and apprenticeships have globally. In recent years, Australia has done a great job of promoting the importance of our national skilled workforce, trying to remove the stigma and showing that it isn't just something that's a fallback, it's a viable and rewarding career pathway. The thoughts and ideas behind apprenticeships and trades need to be repositioned. We need to empower the youth and bring a positive change to people at a very young age. I hope that my story and everyone's story here isn't just going to be a personal one. It's something that can be used as an example to help inspire more young people. So what does empowering mean in vet and apprenticeships? Empowering the youth is about bringing confidence into their choices and showing how important the work we do in apprenticeships are, not just individually, but in society. Giving people the chance to step up and pave a way for the future is integral for the success of nations all across the world. Learning real skills while getting paid for it is great motivation, but we need to transfer the message across that what is actually important is what people produce throughout their time in industry as trainees and apprentices. This message creates a sense of pride in what people do, thus in turn creating a more enthusiastic and quality trade workforce. When we realize the importance and difference we make, it pushes us all to be excellent. Everyone here knows the importance that all different trades and skills have. But how do we get that point across to the next generation? I believe we've already answered our own question with giving some of the brightest young leaders a platform and a voice to speak on an international stage. To further improve the equality of apprenticeships and skills, we need to strengthen relationships between people in industry and education organisations, not just nationwide, but all across the globe. When businesses are involved in training, they make sure what is taught is industry relevant and standard. This in turn creates a young apprentice base that is trained and aware of what is required in their chosen field. We also ensure it is what we deserve as young people. So working together, just as we are now, we can continue to push for this on the global stage. By sharing knowledge together, countries like Australia, who are international leaders in training and skills, can come together and share what we know and our strategies to improve the training processes globally. In the midst of a climate crisis with rapidly growing population, we need to cement sustainable practices, not just in manufacturing and building, more importantly, training. We must come together internationally. So, Mrs. Catherine Rowan, as Executive Director of the Global Apprenticeship Network, someone who has been pivotal in setting up apprenticeships all across the globe, I ask to you, with the skills shortage crisis affecting nearly every country, is there a role for a formal global exchange program or academy for skilled workers either during or after they finish their qualifications? What would we need to change for this to occur? And how can everybody in this room help make this happen?
Thanks very much, Harry. It's great to hear your story and to have a chance to see so many inspiring young people on the stage here today. I think it starts with that. It really starts with showcasing the success stories. There's no doubt about it. Maybe I'll start with what GAN is. GAN Global is an organization that's been around for now 10 years. We're celebrating our 10th pretty soon. And it's a private sector-led organization, multi-sectoral. So we have lots of international organizations like the ILO and IOE, OECD for Business at the table. But that's where it starts. And the most important thing is what we're able to do on the ground. We have some amazing local networks, and I see a representative at the back of our GAN Australia. So we have networks around the globe who are actually doing work on the ground to help with this in the apprenticeship space. And we also work on projects. We have one right now going on in Armenia. So, Levon, what your message was super powerful for me and for my colleagues in the room who, having an impact in areas that are affected really make a difference. And so I think I'm going to start with the second question and then get to the first around how do we do more. But I think ultimately, and maybe I'm repeating a little bit about what was said, and Mary started off so well, we need to start to change the narrative around apprenticeship, around vocational educational training, to be, as you say, Harry, a first choice, because and as you said, Christine, the same, because for many it's a secondary choice, and it starts with yes, individuals, young people, and so how do you get to them? You get to them through schools, through really early intervention, even as early as maybe 13, 14, 15, having representatives from industry coming in to talk to them about what career opportunities there might be. It's about counseling. It's about mentorship. It's really about showing what the opportunities can be, because there are so many. And you don't know, when you're a kid, you just don't know what you want to be when you grow up. It's a perpetual question. And sometimes there are 40-year-olds who still don't know what they want to be when they grow up. But the earlier that it can help guide a young person to understand what that huge array of possibilities, and that skills training and vocational educational training is, in fact, a first-class choice, I think is important. The other thing is it's about, as I say, changing the narrative and helping people to understand that indeed there are possibilities, and it means also means to, and I think someone said it earlier today, going to parents, because a lot of parents just want their kids to go to university and say, okay, well, you go and get a degree and then get a master's, and then what do? They have student debt. And they can't find a job, and they are not meeting the needs necessarily that employers are requiring. So there's a big disconnect between what is out there in terms of the skills available from the population and what employers need today. Vocational educational training really helps with that, and apprenticeship programs can really help with that. We were recently at GAN. We were recently in India and heard a testimonial from one of our member companies, Bueller, in fact, who said that they had to literally go out to the community and talk to uncle, and that's how they put it. Talk to uncle, which meant talk to those helping young people make a decision. And in this case, it was a young woman. And your story really resonated with me, because this young woman had actually been with Bueller for 10 years. And was talking about how she got into the company and how she stayed with the company, because the company actually went to her village and said, this is what the opportunities look like. We'll take care of your daughter, your niece, I guess. But this is what this kind of a career could look like. So it really takes a village in a way to make things happen, and I think it's important. It's not just the private sector; it's educators, it's mentors, it's government creating the policies and the environment that allow for apprenticeship programs to exist. And so your question, I think, was also related to how do we make this happen on a global scale, and I think to a great extent is how do you make sure you have exchanges, right? You talked a bit about the opportunity to work elsewhere. We have an amazing example within GAN Australia, where there was an exchange done between GAN New Zealand, which of course is close by, but then Canada, which is way on the other side of the world, where I come from. And they had a 6-month exchange between, and it was sponsored by an intermediary, by AEN, which is one of our members. So you need companies, organizations, individuals who are completely committed, who say, we believe in this and we want to invest in this to make it happen. Now, what made that easy was the language, because everybody spoke English. So it was super easy. And in fact, there was very little, I would say, red tape between the countries. It was pretty, like all Commonwealth, it was pretty easy to make it happen. It's a little bit more challenging to do in other areas. I know the European Union has been working on this for a while. There are, there lots of progress is being made, but obviously there's still more to do. If you wanted to, now GAN is based in Switzerland. It's a global organization, but headquartered in Geneva. If one wanted to do an exchange between Switzerland and another part of the world, the organization Movitia certainly can help with that as well. So there are opportunities. You have to find them, I think. And I think we have to build them together. And I think that's the most important thing, is they're not going to happen overnight. But if we believe in it, we'll make it happen. So I'll stop there, and hopefully I've given some food for thought. But thank you so much, Harry, and it's great to meet you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. So we understand that we all need to spread the word towards apprenticeship all around the world at global level. And we need to bring all together all the stakeholders, parents, families, the whole community, to make vet and apprenticeship the first choice. Thank you so much, Catherine. For some trainees, it's not so easy to follow academic courses at school. For those who have special needs or disabilities, it can be very challenging. Unfortunately, schools do not always give their learners the support they need and they deserve. To conclude this roundtable, I would now like to give the floor to Chloe, who strongly believed in herself and succeeded to overcome all the obstacles and to become the amazing champion she is. Chloé, the floor is yours, and you are going to speak in French.
Bonjour à tous. Donc effectivement, je m'appelle Chloé. J'ai effectué la compétition, la spéciale édition 2022 pour les WorldSkills en Fashion Technology et sur la compétition également à Billimbix, également en mode sur la même année. Et donc effectivement, j'ai été la première personne à avoir représenté la France et les deux compétitions. Et donc aujourd'hui, ça me permet de pouvoir exprimer la chance que j'ai pu avoir de pouvoir faire les deux compétitions et montrer que avoir un handicap, c'est pas avoir une barrière. Bien au contraire, c'est s'ouvrir des grandes portes et ouvrir aussi un moyen d'expression et exprimer. Ok, on a peut-être excusez-moi, on a peut-être des difficultés, mais c'est pas ça qui va nous arrêter. Et donc effectivement sur la compétition, la spéciale édition WorldSkills en mode et création, j'ai effectué donc exactement les modules qu'ils sont en train de faire sur les compétitions à côté. Mais malheureusement, j'ai rencontré des difficultés parce que en fait, je ne parlais pas anglais à ce moment-là et je ne comprenais pas non plus les consignes qu'on me donnait, parce qu'avec mon handicap qui est la dyslexie, apprendre une langue, c'est compliqué. Apprendre des règles grammaticales françaises, c'est hyper compliqué. l'orthographe, ça peut être aussi un moyen de difficulté. Et donc, toute ma scolarité, autant vous dire que c'était hyper compliqué. C'était pas mon moyen d'expression. Du coup, j'ai découvert que moi, je pouvais m'exprimer à travers autre chose, à travers le sport. Donc, j'ai pratiqué énormément de sport à travers la compétition. Je gagnais. J'ai rencontré une personne lors de mes études qui m'a proposé, qui a été dans le parcours des WorldSkills, et qui m'a proposé de me lancer, de me dire écoute, Chloé, tu es une compétitrice, essaye de t'exprimer sur un domaine professionnel, un domaine pour lequel tu pourrais peut-être t'exprimer et être quelqu'un d'autre chose qu'à travers le sport. Et effectivement, je me suis lancée dans l'aventure WorldSkills et Abinabix. Et ça a été l'un des plus beaux moments de ma vie. Un moment aussi de découverte de moi-même. J'ai découvert que je pouvais aussi être forte dans d'autres domaines. Et aujourd'hui, ça m'a ouvert énormément d'opportunités. Je pense que je ne pourrais pas m'exprimer devant vous si je n'avais pas fait les WorldSkills, si je n'avais pas fait les Abinabix, si je m'étais pas lancée, si je m'étais pas fait confiance à un moment donné. Mais tout ça, je pense qu'il faut remercier aussi toutes les personnes qui nous accompagnent, parce que c'est aussi grâce à eux, en fait. Comme tu le disais tout à l'heure, on n'arrive pas en haut tout seul. On arrive tout le temps. Je pense qu'on va beaucoup plus vite, plus loin en équipe que si on y va tout seul. Et je pense qu'aujourd'hui, tous les compétiteurs qui sont en compétition ici, c'est grâce à leur équipe métier, c'est grâce à toutes les personnes qui leur ont permis de prendre confiance en eux, de leur dire écoute, t'as une pépite en toi, c'est peut-être pas la pépite que tout le monde veut que toi t'aies, mais toi tu l'as, c'est celle-ci, alors fais-la éclore et exprime-toi, et c'est ça qui va faire que demain, ça devient des grands entrepreneurs, ça devient d'autres personnes, des grands sportifs, et pour moi c'est ça qui est plus beau. Donc, j'espère que d'autres personnes, d'autres compétiteurs, WorldSkills comme Abinabix pourront également s'exprimer, et comme d'autres personnes qui ne font pas forcément de compétition, mais qui ont un autre parcours qui n'est pas le parcours initial, qui n'est pas la voie générale, mais la voie professionnelle. Et c'est une très très belle voie qu'il faut mettre en valeur, et qu'il faut continuer à suivre, et à donner aussi les moyens de s'exprimer.
Merci beaucoup, Chloé.
Merci à vous.
And Chloé, I think you have a question for Benoît, just next to you.
Et effectivement, j'ai une question pour toi, Benoît. Merci beaucoup. Comment accompagnez-vous les compétiteurs en situation de handicap pour les aider à se révéler et atteindre le haut niveau?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chloé, once again. It's a big chance to meet you before, and to still being in contact with you, because it's important to keep contact and open also the way to our competitors, to our skills contestants who need this support from everyone, the parents, the teachers, and all the stakeholders. Just quick information, Abilympics, just to repeat, is the contraction of abilities, and Olympics is the, let's say, the Paralympics games for skills. Now we just merge in France, Abilympics France and WorldSkills France together. So we are a unique organization right now to promote inclusion. And this is our goal today and tomorrow, that to promote inclusion, the skills competition, we had a really great, emotional, inspirational athletes during the Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. And now it's the right moment as well to promote the skills contestants, the skill competitors, because having a skills is like being part as well of the society. And it's a chance for everyone. So this is the great things to be there today in Lyon, because it's the capital of skills for 1 week, and this is great to promote it and to promote every talent. because, as you said, you assume your disability. We promote every kind of talents, the diversity, let's say. We speak about gender before, and this is an excellent way to show the world that you are able to do it. And we need to invite the world to see that. And we accompany our talents in different ways. We have general aspects, of course, of WorldSkills, like physical and mental preparation, because they are athletes. You are athletes in sport, you are athletes in skills right now. You have many skills, Chloe. And then so it's a great chance, because this physical and technical preparation with experts in skills, with experts in sport as well. Your coach in physical aspects was a gold medalist in handball, so this is a small world. We have link everywhere, so it is our role all together to give you the chance to be excellent. You were excellent, and you are still excellent in Chanel, your company right now. And we also promote and give personalized support, because we are not the same. We are all different, and you have singularities. All people, for instance, in wheelchair have singularities. We cannot do the physical preparation as a team like in sports, so we adapt our program. So this is tough because it's an individual approach, but this is a family now, Abbey Olympics, and this is the way to show that we can be one society, respectful. This is good for youth people here, also to be mixed with people with disabilities, to discuss, because your colleagues could have disabilities as well, to make it a better world. So you could be a better person as well as a human being. So this is good, and this is what we promote. This is how we coach our skilled contestants. And the support is also an additional support thanks to specialized people in disabilities, because we just give the poorness of the skills competition, but then you need to work with the partners to support the accessibility for every site. I will like to give you a proper example right now. Why we don't have subtitles? It should be a reflex for every organizer to give the chance to people to come and see, because you cannot participate. If you can't participate to such an event, you cannot have the skills and the passion. So this kind of event should be open for everyone, and we have to put the level really high to permit everyone to access this kind of event. And you are all inspiring the world with the skills. So we should show the skills, and the skills to be showcased for everyone, not only for yours people, let's say normal people, but we need to showcase for everyone, because the disabilities could also happen during your work life. If you have an accident and somehow, you need to come here and see, okay, I have another chance in my life. And this is I would like to finish this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Roger. Benoit. So excellence is for everyone, and skills are the key. Skill is the key. This is what we will keep from this round table. So time is running, and we already need to conclude. So I would like first to warmly welcome each of you for your strong, powerful, and very inspiring testimonies. I am very impressed, and I'm sure all the audience is very impressed by your maturity, your awareness of what you need for your self-fulfillment, how you want to change the world, to change the game. And all our discussions today will be further exploited by some students from the Lyon Institute of Political Sciences, and they will make a position paper in order to advocate for youth, for vocational education and training, and to influence policy at international level. So thank you so much, and I wish you a pleasant day.